Hello everybody. Where the heck is my webcam? Got it plugged in. Webcam? Hello? Webcam? My webcam is just, you know, taking a day off today, I guess. See if it decides to show up anytime soon. There we go. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the stream. Welcome. So good to see you all. So, round 6 of the NKFL. Here's the deal. I was sick as a dog when I played this match. I mean, I was congested, I was stuffy, my throat. I mean, I was coughing, I was sniffing. You might be able to still hear it just a little bit in my voice. But I was like, I don't really want to stream under these conditions. This is not ideal. I'll just sound horrible if I'm trying to stream this. So what I did instead is I recorded the whole thing. I recorded all 3 matches. And so what we're going to do today is we're going to but we're going to watch those 3 matches. Because I didn't want to leave you guys hanging for round 6 of the NKFL. So that's what we're doing. We're still doing round 6, but we're just watching the recording of what happened. So I know what happened. Vaguely, I kind of remember what happened, but we're gonna go through this together. I've got the recording pulled up right here, and yeah, round 6, myself versus lordalatar. And since this is a recording, I mean, we can like skip through all the slow stuff. We can just skip. We can skip through the waiting around and everything. But yeah, and then round 7. It should have been done this weekend, but my opponent has been kind of a pain to schedule with, so hopefully we can get it done tomorrow night, and maybe Sizox will let us do it maybe a little bit later if tomorrow night doesn't work out, but I really hope to get round 7 streamed here pretty quick, so we can finish up season 23 of the NKFL. But yeah, so these are my opponent's decks that I'm looking through right now. Let me back it up just a little bit here. I wonder, is this gonna work? Wow, frame by frame, that's great. That is not what I'm looking for. I just want to go to the part where we're looking at the decks. But yeah, so this should be fun. Hopefully it'll just be a pretty quick stream. We can just get through it tonight, and it'll be a good time. Alright, so these are my opponent's decks. So my opponent, he actually had an all Winds of Exchange lineup. All 6 of his decks were Winds of Exchange. The last season where he'll be able to do that, because if we're moving into season 24 with the 2 set restriction, 2 decks per set restriction, I should say, then all woe lineups will not be a thing anymore. But for season 23, this guy had an all woe lineup. It was pretty crazy. This was his first deck, the Mayor That Crafts Healing, 84 sass with a Hallowfest, also a Frost Giant, which is cool because he brought along 2 Legacy Ganger Chieftains and a Maverick 1 stood against many. And then there's also some stuff in the Mars and Star Alliance that's pretty interesting as well. So that's a very cool Brobnar pod. I mean, instant use out of that Hallowfest stuff. Then over here, the Beast Who Meets Frescoes, we've got the Triple Smith, Brick Nasty, no Hallowfest in this one. But then also triple visible hand, closed door, double, generous offer, etc., etc. And then triple abyssal sight and the double whirlpool. I saw that and I was like, no thank you. I would like to play my cards, please. I would like to be able to play my cards. And also, the cards that I play, I want them to stay on my side of the board. So triple abyssal sight, double whirlpool, no way. Just no. So then there's that one. We've also got Shri, Pharaoh Finder, the Overgrown Reeve at 86 sass. More crazy Brobnar shenanigans, Rant and Rive, Brick Nasty, Double Bumpsy with a Harmala Tune. Also Endless Hordes again. We've also got the Abyssal Sight Plunder, Befuddle, so even more disruption over here. And then some Capture and stuff in the Sanctum. So, and then also like Timoti to set up the R&R. So overall, just another really annoying deck. And then there's also Gilpin of Farah Forest. Scholar deck, 84 sass, just 1 Legionary Trainer, but also double Longsword Elector, Pax Soriana, and then also some more pips, 14 pips total. What else is in there? Another Endless Horde. It's like every single one of his Brobnar pods had an Endless Horde. There's Corner of the Market, Generous Offer. I mean, just a really, like, Corner of the Market, what an annoying card. Jeremy, welcome to the stream. Welcome, welcome. So good to see ya. Glad to have you here. All right, and then we also had Browbeater, Nadine Brosware at 88 sass, even more disruption in the Unfathomable, Abyssal Sight, Befuddle, Sybil Waymare, Fathom Reaver, and then a very heavily enhanced Mars House, a couple Psychic Networks, and then this with the Rebel tokens, so I mean things like the Psychic Network are even scarier. Also with the Crystal Hive is really scary. Maverick Maelstrom in the Saurian, which is really cool. City State, Senator Brachus, Amphora Captura. I mean, just a really scary deck overall. Very balanced stats. Only 9 pips though, which was interesting. And then we also had Bellamil the Ripper of Wings, Triple Kaboom. So lots and lots of board control. I mean, look at that board control stat, 31. And then, yeah, another Endless Hordes, yet another Endless Hordes. Double Might Club, Brick Nasty, Noble Flamewing, double mix with the Grunt token. So I mean, he's going crazy with that Mars pod. 91 sass. And then, is there one more deck? I don't remember. But yeah, doesn't look like there is. But I mean, yeah, these decks, and again, only 9 Ember pips in that one. Very balanced stats. Oh no, never mind. I went back to this other deck. But yeah, so very, very scary stuff. Those are his 6 decks. Let me see if I can find which one I ban here. Oh. So yeah, like, so my decks is like, I want to be able to play my cards, and I also want my creatures to stay on the board. And now here's the thing though, is with an all Winds of Exchange lineup, Winds of Exchange is a very, it's a very board-based set. So notice he banned Queen first, which is my crazy 104 sass Grim Reminders deck. So essentially what he was doing is he was banning all of my decks with high board control. So Queen, his first ban, has the highest board control out of all my decks at like 28 or something. So he banned that one. And then his second ban also banned even more board control. So he was very smart in banning my board control because his Winds of Exchange lineup, just as a nature of it being Winds of Exchange, he has a very board-based lineup. So I mean, he was doing a great job counterpicking me right off the bat and banning the decks that would have been best into his lineup, the ones with all the board control. So that was tough. And my line of thinking was like, okay, he can have a big board, but I'm just gonna try to race to the end as fast as possible. So even if he puts out a big board, I'm just gonna try and generate as much Ember as possible, play as many pips as possible, just kind of try to ignore his board as much as possible. And I guess you guys will see how that goes. Spoiler. No spoiler. No, never mind the spoiler. I won't spoil anything. Let's just say that big boards, you know, even if you have all the Ember control and Burst in the World, sometimes big boards, you know, they just kind of do their thing. Eric, welcome to the stream. Welcome. Hello. So good to have you. Man, it feels good to be streaming again. Dude, it's been literally like 25 days or something. I think it's been like 25 days since I last streamed. My last video was an exact month ago. Dude, I am tripping out here, man. I am lacking. I'm lacking. And I apologize. Dude, I've been sick. My job has really been taking it out of me because now I'm working 2 jobs, and my second job is just when I get back home after my job, I'm just like, bro, I just want to chill. I'm just like, oh, I do not feel like doing anything. So that's been part of the reason I haven't been putting out content, is just because I'm just like, it's been tough to find the inspiration or the drive to make content. It's just one of those seasons for me at the moment. And then also I was sick the past week or so, I didn't want to make content while I was sick, but I don't blame you. Yeah, I'm glad y'all understand. The community's great. Sometimes you just gotta take a break from content every now and then. I just find myself taking more breaks than I should sometimes. So, all right, so then he saved Shri Pharaohfinder. I have not been commentating this very well. I've just been trying to catch up with you guys. Yeah, I feel like doing nothing is important for a mind and body. Yeah, I just have to chill sometimes, you know? Just have to chill sometimes. But I really want to get back into the content making ASAP here. I have a script ready. I just recently completed a new script for a video that I hope to be making very quickly here. It's a pretty interesting video, actually. All right, so I saved Trophy Bro. He banned Queen, and then I banned Browbeater. And then what was left over was like all Halifest decks, or like Endless Hordes decks or something. It was kind of funny. But yeah, so I hope to have this video uploaded pretty soon. Hopefully within the next couple days. It's a pretty interesting topic that I really hope will spark some discussion. Very interesting topic about Grim Reminders that we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. It's just a few of my opinions on the set of Grim Reminders and everything that I think should spark some interesting discussions and comments. Perhaps we'll see what happens. Or maybe my channel is dead now because I haven't uploaded in a month and nobody's gonna watch my video. I could see that happening as well. I've just kind of like faded out of existence, I feel like. Does anybody remember me? I'm not sure. I don't know if they do or not. But all right, so let's hop into some games. Let's see. I guess we're making our second bans right now. Or I guess he's making his second ban on me. Which, if I remember correctly, it took him a while. But see if we can skip ahead here a little bit. And then he banned Chase. So this is the deck with my other. This is my Halifest deck that also happens to have some pretty good board control. I think there's a Kaboom in there. I don't think there's a Maelstrom. There's at least one Kaboom, and then obviously the Halifest stuff. But there's a decent amount of board control in that one. So Queen has like triple Winds of Death, like crazy amounts of board control, and then this one has good board control. Otto has hardly any. Trophy Bro has hardly any. Ison has quite a bit actually. And then Petrotuvo has not a whole lot either. So this was my best board control deck. But I really hate that deck. Like, it was a mistake including it in my Hexad. Let's just put it that way. It was a mistake including that one in my Hexad. All right, so I went with Petrotuvo game 1. So this is where I was just like, okay, let's just spam Ember as fast as possible. Screw the board, just go fast. And then he went with Gilpin of Farah Forest, which is the this one right here, as you can see, the Scholar deck. How can someone play these games online? So to play KeyForge online, there's actually, as you can see here, this fan-made site called thecrucible.online. You can import your decks. Okay, look at that, double Curse Relic. My first hand was double freaking Curse Relic. So that was like an instant mulligan. I was like, no. No, we're not starting with 2 Curse Relics in my hand. Absolutely not. That was an instant mulligan. As you can see, I mulliganed into a much better hand. Anyway, TCO, the Crucible Online, fan-made site. You can import your KeyForge decks in there, play them online against other people. Pretty much all sets are supported, except maybe Vaultmaster 24. I don't know if those ones are good to go yet. They might be. I feel like I heard somewhere that you can play Vaultmaster 24 on TCO now. But yeah, you just take your decks from the Master Vault, import them in there. So he started out with Corner of the Market turn 1, which I did not expect. And I was like, all right, cool. Got that out of the way. Now I don't have to deal with it. So I discarded the Pax Sorana and the Failing Strike to archive them for later. Not yet. Okay, Vaultmaster 24 is not available yet. But it should be eventually, for sure. So then he goes into Brobnar, plays down an Earthshaker and a Rowdy Scald and a Shock Herder. So I'm sitting here like, you've got to be kidding me. 3 Brobnar creatures right off the bat. It's like, of course he gets an incredible Brobnar board. Not that incredible, but you know what I mean. He reaps with the Earthshaker and then ends it right there. So now I'm facing up against this board of Brobnar right off the bat. And then the Antiquities Dealer put that Potion of Invulnerability into Equidon. So I go Equidon here. And I actually just answer with a board of my own to an extent. Put down 3 Bellatorn Warriors, Gemcoat Vendor, a couple artifacts. Now my Bellatorn Warriors have Elusive as well. Thank you for the info. Yeah, for sure. I'm glad. Hopefully that helps. Oh yeah, Menagerie decks too. I don't think Menagerie decks are playable on TCO either. Hopefully, yeah, like you were saying, Jeremy, hopefully those are good to go at some point as well. So actually, Eric, if you search up Dinobot333 on YouTube, he actually has a really good video all about TCO and how to get started with TCO. If I remember, I'll try to link it in the chat, but it's a really good video. So if you want to get more into it that way, then that's an option as well. So he goes, Equidon puts down a recruiter, exoshell system, so now all of his scholars have elusive as well, which is kind of annoying. Generous offer to steal my Ember, because why not? Yeah, Bellator, I love Bellator Warrior. What a great token creature, especially when they're elusive. Like, dude, so good. So this is actually interesting. Actually going back and watching my own gameplay later, it's like, yo, this should be interesting. Like, I wonder if I'll see anything that I did that I think I should have done differently. Like, I wonder if I'll see any plays that I'm like, why did I do that? I should have done this different thing. So far, I agree with everything I've done. We're going crazy with the Bellator Warriors. We put down a Dexterous Longsword Electro to make another warrior. Recruit to make another warrior. That gets archived. And then, yeah, it's like just Saurian spam all the way. And then I've got my Pax Soriana good to go. He doesn't have much of a board, so the Pax Soriana isn't that risky to play here. It's much more for me. Much more like valuable for me, I should say. Especially with the Phalanx Strike, take out the Scholar, exalt the Warrior, take out the Earthshaker, and then Reap out and Pax Soriana all the way. Boy! Boom. So I'm checking at 9 for my first key. I do end up drawing into a Cursed Relic, which is unfortunate, but thankfully I also got my Autovac along with it, so hopefully in the future I'll be able to play down that Autovac and then just cycle that Cursed Relic through it and get that out of my hand, get some value out of it. And then my opponent's deck doesn't have a whole ton of board control, if I remember, in this matchup. I think the worst thing he had was like a Tectonic Shift. So I mean, my board fully warded like this is pretty safe for the most part. I think there's a Tectonic Shift and then one other thing. So yeah. All right, so he goes Saurian. So already I have a pretty decently commanding lead. I mean, 9 Ember, checking for my first key, and then this massive warded board of Saurians. So I'm feeling pretty good here. Feeling pretty good here. Yeah, that is quite the board. Quite the board indeed. Bellator Warriors for the win. Bellator Warriors for the win. Alright, so then he played a Regrettable Meteor. Oh yeah, that was his other big thing. He played a Regrettable Meteor, popped all my wards, and then he throws down a Legionary Trainer with the Scholar. No problem, Jeremy. Thank you so much for stopping by. It was good having you. Thank you very much. You have a good one as well. So now begins the Scholars. Now begins the Scholars. Yeah, that's why I was very glad to have the Pax Soriana against that Regrettable Meteor. Otherwise, my entire board would have been wiped. But thankfully, the wards saved me. And then, weirdly enough, he plays his own Pax Soriana and just wards all my stuff again. Which I guess he was just trying to burst as well, but I was very surprised. I was like, why did he not play the Pax Soriana first and then Regrettable Meteor so that my wards would still all be popped? Like, my board is way more vulnerable if he did it that way, but instead he pops all the wards and then just puts all the wards back on. So that was kind of weird to me. But that, as you saw, that Pax Soriana had a capture and the damage on it too, so it was like a 4 enhancement Pax Soriana. And then he Epic Poems the Rowdy Scald for 3 total because of the capture pip. So now he's all the way up to 10, checking for his first key. Now I don't remember, do I go into Brobnar here? No, I just keep going, I just keep trucking along with the Saurian. I'm like, screw the Rant and Rive. He can have this key, go ahead. I'm just gonna keep bursting. That was my game plan from the start. Just burst. Ignore the board and burst. Pop the potion of invulnerability. Excuse me. Yeah, as you can hear, I still got a little bit of stuffiness in there. But yeah, I can just fight some of those threats off the board and then reap out. Generate some more warriors, Beltorn warriors. Now I just got this massive board. I wonder, should I have this turned down more? Might be more like right here. Does this sound better? I feel like I usually have my audio turned down a whole lot more when I'm streaming. I don't remember though. I think I do. Let me know if I need to turn that back up, because I just turned it way down. Let me know if that needs to change or not. Alright, so he plays Brick Nasty, Berserker Slam, a couple brawl-ins, so nothing threatening at all. I forge my second key, and then I just go right back into Saurian. He doesn't have that much Ember control. And then, yeah, I just reap out. I like reaped with like 6 of them. Like I can't even use that Peltorn warrior because I like roll a 6 to everything. It is a couple tokens. That is a couple tokens. Is there a way to look up the card list for sets? I understand there's new cards that show up for newer sets, but there's also cards that come back from older sets. I would just like to know the card pool. Here, let me hook you up with that. So there's another fan site. It's the official, or not official, it's the fan-made KeyForge wiki called Arcana, and they have an entire card gallery that you can like filter and sort all the cards that you want to see from the different sets, from the different houses. I mean, you can literally search for the cards however you want, including by set like you're asking. So let me hook you up with that. I'll put that in the chat. So that link should lead you to the card gallery that you can use to search up. I mean, you can search by set, you can search the Coda cards, AOA, so on and so forth, search by house, by everything. So hopefully that helps you. Hopefully that helps you. And hopefully it actually shows up in the chat as a clickable link, because sometimes it's weird and doesn't like work or whatever. So yeah, I'm checking for 11 for my third key. He starts doing some stuff in the Equidon. Hit 7 Ember. And boom, got the W, game 1. 3 keys to 1. Felt pretty good about that one. I got some pretty good draws. Just managed to get this massive Saurian board out really quick, which is really helpful. Really helpful. So yeah, that was game 1. And moving on to game 2. So game 2, I went with Choppy Bro. I was like, this was my save deck. I saved Choppy Bro. I was like, let's just clinch the win here. Let's just get that. Let's just get the two games won. I know us fans really are doing everything for GG. We really are. We really are. Yeah. So I went with Choppy Bro, which is my save deck, but he absolutely predicted that. He absolutely predicted that I would go Choppy Bro, and he counterpicked me hard. He counterpicked me hard. So I think I'll pull up which deck he uses here pretty quick. So he went with this one right here. He went with Shreefarer Finder, a 24 creature deck. Now, Choppy Bro has hardly any board control. Like, Choppy Bro cannot control boards at all. So he comes out here with this 24 creature deck. And another thing about Choppy Bro is it cannot handle disruption. It needs to play its cards, and it needs to play them when it wants to play them. Now, this is a deck with Abyssal Sight, Befuddle, 2 Bubbles, a Plunder, Timoti, a creature that doesn't even let me forge if it's on the board with the token creature, and I have a deck with hardly any board control. So yeah, also the Rant and Rive, my deck wants to burst like crazy. He has a Rant and Rive to punish that as well. I mean, overall, like, he just he read the matchup so perfectly. He might as well have, I mean, just like gotten into my mind, like he implanted my mind with a chip, and he was just like, you know what Aembermedes is gonna do? He's gonna go Choppy Bro right now, and he picked the perfect deck to counteract it. I didn't really see that in the moment. At first I was like, okay, a big board. Well, if he uses his big board to reap out, I'm just gonna brig him, or I'm gonna TMTP him, so I can punish his big board, but not always. Not always. So you'll see in this game what ends up happening, but it went worse than I thought it would. My throat is really dry. So this is my starting hand. A pretty decent starting hand, honestly. Titan Mechanic, Sutterkin, Archimedes, Quantum Finger Trap. Now his deck, again, doesn't have that much board control, so I'm like, okay, I'll throw down this Sutterkin, and maybe he won't have the answer because he doesn't have that much board control. But then, of course, as you'll see what's going to happen here. He goes Unfathomable and plays one of his very, very, very few board answers. I guess not that few. He did have some board control, but he, of course, has a Bubbles to get rid of the Sutterkin. Clog up my draw by putting it on top of my deck, and then plunders me. Which, I mean, I was kind of like, okay, cool. At least this plunder is gone for now. Yeah, there you go. Endless Hordes, Shock Herder, Get Hammer, stuff like that. A couple bubbles, but... He pretty much just reveals my whole hand at this point, if I remember correctly. Reveals my Smite, then my Whistling Darts, and the Quantum Finger Trap. Hidden Stash. Titan Mechanic. And Archimedes. And then I lose my Archimedes. I lost my Sutterkin, lost my Archimedes. Now I have this really awkward 2-1-2 hand. These things are already off to a pretty unfortunate start. So at least he only played the Bubbles and Plunder that turn. Just kind of had to answer my Sutterkin. I go back into Logos, play the Finger Trap and Titan Mechanic, draw back into the Sutterkin. And then I've got some Sanctum stuff. Didn't draw any more Shadows, kind of weird. Goes Brobnar. And then plays down a Pelf. Plays a Grand Gord. Here comes the big board I can't deal with. And the Harmolatoon. Here comes the Harmolatoon as well. All the big Brobnar boys are coming out against this deck that cannot control the board. And the Get Hammer. Of course, 4 Brobnar creatures straight out the gate. I'm gonna have to grab some water. My throat is so dry. So I just quickly throw down some Sanctum stuff. Take out the Harmel at the very least, which is helpful. And then I awkwardly have these two alpha cards in my hand. I'll be right back. I'm gonna grab some water. My throat is so dry because I have so much. I have a fan blown on me. It is not helping. Not helping my situation at all. I'll be right back. Alright, we are back. We are back. He goes Unfadly, plays a Yanti Ghostfin. Sunk cost hits my Sutterkin. Dude, my Sutterkin cannot catch a break. My Sutterkin just cannot catch a break. Initiation comes down to make a warrior. Another big beefy boy. Big beefy boy. And then Bubbles fought my Rothias, which I thought was interesting. And I don't remember why he did that exactly. Although I think it does come into play later. Eureka. And then Reaping with Titan Mechanic puts me up to check at the very least. Mat check for my first key. I'm like, okay, this is going fine. This is okay so far. Oh yeah, and another thing is that against decks with huge boards like this, Proclamation doesn't do anything. Proclamation is useless because pretty much at all times they're gonna have a board of all three houses, and Proclamation is not helping with anything. It's just sitting there uselessly. It's not setting anything up for me. It's not stopping their keys. It's just sitting there on the board. So, Choppy Bro. Dude, Choppy Bro just lets me down in so many ways in these matchups. And then here comes down the Brick Nasty, which is like my worst nightmare. Health Reaps. Grand Gourd. Reaps. So now I'm like, oh no. His board is popping off. Way better than I expected it to. Which honestly, I should have expected it to. I should have expected it to do this. And then Endless Hordes with Brick Nasty is just so good. It's just so good. Such a great combo. And the thing about Endless Hordes too is that it ignores taunt. It ignores taunt. So he didn't even have to fight my Rothias the Fierce. Normally Rothias would just kill the warriors straight away. Promoted or destroyed straight away. But instead he can fight, as you saw, my Titan Mechanic, my Abad the Grim. I was hoping you were going to get promoted. I'm scared of being in your division next season since your decks would slaughter me, I think. Yeah, I don't know if I'll be promoted. I will definitely not be promoted, I don't think. I think the best I can do at this point is maintain my position in bronze. So, I mean, if we end up in the same season, then hey, it might be you and me. I don't know if my decks don't slaughter that much, I feel like. They can slaughter, but usually they don't slaughter. They slaughter a little bit, but they don't slaughter a lot. You just wanted me out of your division so that you didn't have to deal with me. I was surprised to finish second in my division after a brutal 1-5 start to my season. Wow, nice comeback. Nice comeback. Second. So you're promoting to bronze then? Is that what you're saying? You're gonna be a bronze legend? So yeah, he just went crazy with this Brobnar turn, bursted up to 9. I don't have any of my answers available. So I'm like, okay, I'll tax it in Sanctum. I'll tax the key with the proc. Yeah, I'll be in bronze for 24. Heck yeah, man. Nice work. Nice work. Yeah, I really hope I can at least maintain bronze. It's all gonna come down to my last round here, round 7, which I have not played yet. If I can do well in this final round, I think I should maintain my spot in bronze. But we'll just have to see what happens. We'll have to see what happens. Maybe I'll straight up lose all my games and I'll get demoted down to iron. Then you can avoid me that way. There you go. So yeah, I just played these couple cards. I didn't even get to Forge apparently, which was unfortunate. So then he comes in with a Ragnarok prep. What a painful card. Ragnarok prep, so, like, it just hurts. It just hurts. It's such a painful card. Health makes me lose an Ember. Shock Herder comes down. Makes me lose another Ember. So now I'm back down to 0. All my hard work with Eureka and everything like that. Like, at this point, I'm like, okay, I see what's happening now. I'm like, okay, I see what's happening now. Now I'm just absolutely freaking screwed. Like, he brought me all the way down to 0. And yeah, he doesn't have any artifacts in his deck, so Snecklifter doesn't do anything. I desperately throw down a couple creatures, archive the Binding Rupture at least, so maybe if I draw anything good, then I'll be able to brig him before he forges a second key. But at this point, I'm already like, okay, it's a lost cause. And this player here, lordalatar, I mean, first off, you can see he has the NKFL profile picture as his Crucible, like, TCO profile picture. I mean, like, come on. Like, you're telling me that this guy has an NKFL profile picture and I have any hope of beating him? No. No, this guy does NKFL for a living, apparently. So, yeah, I don't know what I was thinking. He's a very smart player. So, I mean, like, yeah, he has this great board, but is he going to reap out with it to, like, 20 Ember? No, he's smarter than that. So, as you'll see, he plays the rest of this game really well. If it's restricted to 2 decks per set, that'll kill me. Ideally, I would do 2 Grim Reminders and 4 Woe. Yeah, I feel like it's really going to affect some people, and other people it's not going to affect that much. Yeah, the two decks per set, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about the restrictions. If we end up getting like a restricted list of cards, like I might just straight up stop playing because that's just stupid. That's just stupid. There is absolutely no reason for a restricted list of cards. Like that is not the way to go about it. I mean, two decks per set, that's fine, I guess. Like I feel like most people will be able to manage that. But I mean, a restricted list of cards is just like, come on. That's so dumb. It's like, just let people play their decks, you know? It's like, finally, people are now opening lots of decks that are really good. Okay, so let them use them. It's like, finally a set is out that most anybody can open a really good deck. Or at least a pretty good one. And now that I have, let's say, now that a player has like, say like 4 of them, like, yes, I have 4 good decks. Oh, well, I can only play 2 of them for no reason. Wonderful. I like the season, 2 frequent reminders I can understand, but why should someone be restricted to only 2 from DT? Yeah, exactly. But it's like say you have 3 good reminders decks. Why should I not be able to play all 3 of them? They're my decks that I opened that are good enough for NKFL. Like, the point is to do well. The point is to have this lineup that you can compete with. And if I have 3 reminders decks that I know I can compete with, that will actually get me wins and promote me, why can I not play them? You know? The whole restriction thing is just stupid to me. It's like, if I have a lineup that can get me promoted higher and higher, and that can get me wins, why should I not be able to use these decks? But anyway, as you can see, I'm getting completely slaughtered by this Robnar board and this Sanctum board that's coming out now. Set restrictions really hurt new players. No newer player can just go open tons of old sets. Exactly, that as well. That too. So then there's this whole awkward thing of like, okay, new players, how do you judge what a new player is exactly? And it's just like, so new players aren't restricted to the 2 decks per set, but older players are. It's like, where's the line there? Like, I don't understand. It's very sloppy. It's just like, okay, Grim Reminders is a very powerful set. So what? My whole lineup is decks I've personally opened. Yeah, same for me except one. Same for me except one. So yeah, here I go, desperately grasping at straws. I lights out a couple things. I think I steal an Ember here with Arani to stop the key. But it's just, it is not good. It is not good. So I do have Brig. I do have Brig now. Minor Rupture in the archives, Graft in hand. I don't remember what my other archived card was. Maybe like a TMTP or something. Then I've also got this nice Golden Aura once against money. A very cool combo. Golden Aura. There's a card we haven't seen anymore. There's a card we haven't seen again. It's Golden Aura. It's a good card. Honestly, I'm surprised it didn't show up in like Dark Tidings or something. Seems kind of like a Dark Tidings card. But yeah, so now my opponent's kind of thinking like, I've got Brig, I think I have TNTP, but it's like, what does he do? So he's considering like, do I reap out with my board? How much do I hold back on reaping out with my board? Yeah, it was tough. It was tough. This game was not a fun one. And of course, it's Choppy Bro. Oh my goodness, Choppy Bro does nothing but lose in the NKFL. Brig is terrifying to play against. Yeah, it can be. It can be. But it's just, oh my goodness. It's not very often that I get to play with Choppy Bro in this NKFL. And when I do, it loses. I thought Choppy Bro was better than this. It's a super fast deck. It steals. It has scaling. It just doesn't have board control. Like one Spirit's Way, like replace one of those Golden Auras with the Spirit's Way. This deck is so much better. I mean, just infinitely better. And then he befuddles me into Shadows. That's what absolutely killed me right there. Was the befuddle into Shadows. And yeah, that's exactly the disruption. Choppy Bro cannot handle disruption. It's just like somehow, every single time I play Choppy Bro, my opponent has the perfect matchup for me to lose it. And I don't understand how they always read it. Like, how do they always know exactly when I'm gonna play Choppy Bro? How do people look into the future like that? It could be that the only people who don't ban it know they have good matchups versus Choppy Bro. Yeah, exactly. Like somehow they always manage to get the matchup just right. Somehow they always get the matchup just right. And I don't know how they do it. Like how do you predict matchups? Like genuinely, how do you predict matchups? Like it is 100% luck based, right? Like obviously you can make a guess, or at least you can know which matchups are good and bad. It's like you can know which matchups are good and bad, but how do you know the deck that the opponent is going to choose? How do you read it? How do you predict it? That's the luck-based part. You have to get lucky in that they choose that deck. But somehow, my opponent is always lucky in that they know that I'm going to play Choppy Bro next. And I always get the bad matchup. Like in this case, lordalatar made the judgment call, made the guess that I was going to play Choppy Bro, and somehow he got it right. How did he know I was going to play Choppy Bro? How did he know that? I guess a pretty common logic though is that like once a player wins the first game with their unsaved deck, then generally they take their saved deck into game 2 just to try and clinch that 2-1 victory, or at least that second win, I should say. But not always. So how do you know I was going to do it? Sometimes I feel like I should roll a die to decide the order to play my decks. Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. It's like the whole matchup thing is like I understand the matchups for the most part. Like I know what makes a good matchup and I know what makes a bad matchup generally. But I can never predict what the matchup is going to be. I can never predict what the opponent is going to do. Ever. Maybe once or twice I've successfully done so. So yeah, maybe Jason, I'm just going to have to do what you do. Or do what you think you might have to do sometimes and just roll a die, because like I can't predict it. But somehow players just can literally pull a Doctor Strange, look into the future and find the future that is going to happen, and then they just follow up on that. It's like I don't get it. It's like, here's the question: is that a skill or is that complete luck? Like, is it a skill to know what your opponent is going to do, or is it just lucky and hoping that they do that? and hoping that they do what you want them to do. Is it skill or luck that's involved there? Because I don't see how it could be skill. The skill is in knowing that it's a bad or good matchup for you. I feel like the luck then comes in which deck actually ends up getting played and chosen. Or is the logic in deducing what deck the opponent might want to go to next, is that a skill? Is there skill and logic, or is logic luck? I feel like we're taking a philosophy course right now or something. I feel like we're in some like theology class. Okay, so yeah, I bring him here. So at least I'm up to 9. Which, hey, that's cool. Yay! Yay! I brig my opponent. Woohoo! For second key while I'm still down at 0 keys. And I'm at 9 number. Yay! I'm good at this game. Proclamation isn't doing anything. I know! Now it's my opponent's turn to have quite a battle line. I had the cool battle line last game, and now he has this enormous, undestructible battle line. Yeah, full of armored token creatures and Brobnar and everything. So he's taking a real long think here. So I do have the TMTP in hand, but nothing to combo with it. So I mean, he could just reap out right here and win. He goes Brobnar. He reaps once, twice, thrice, 4, 5, 6. Okay, he's at 6. Let's see. Do I burst up? He's probably checking my discard pile. What do I have to go with TTP? Okay, there's 7. There's 8. And I lose. Because I have TMTP, but because of his battle line, Proc isn't doing anything. Proc is not naturally comboing with the TMTP. I don't have my Ronnies. Both my Ronnies are gone. And he stops at 9. That's the end of it. At least I got 1 key. At least I got 1 key. I CMTP and lose the game. Right then and there. Trophy Bro loses. Of course. Of course Trophy Bro loses. Why would Trophy Bro win? Why would Trophy Bro ever win? I don't know why Trophy Bro would ever win. 3-1. And we are now going to the 3rd game. 1 win each. It all comes down to game 3. It all comes down to game 3. Alright, so then game 3, I go with Otto, my triple control of the week, Crazy Shadows pod, Coda deck. Because that deck generally is pretty decent. That deck generally can do stuff pretty well. I mean, sometimes they can just cheese wins with the triple control of the week. It has tons of Ember control, as you can see there. The only thing about it is it has this kind of awkward Mars pod and absolutely 0 efficiency. And then my opponent, he goes with, once again, this crazy massive board deck, another Endless Hordes. I'm pretty sure all of the decks that didn't get banned from his lineup, so the 4 remaining decks that he had, I think all of them had Endless Hordes, which was ridiculous. This one also has Halifest, Doppelganger Chieftain, Frost Giant, Once It Against Many with the brick and the whole band. So his Halifest goes off no matter what, essentially. Like his Halifest he'll get instant value the turn he plays it because he has so many enablers for it. Then he also has the Ganymede Outpost. He also has the Ganymede Outpost, the Nizik Resonator, which is not great because Otto, once again, is a board with very little board control. This is the lesson I learned from this entire matchup right here. This set of 3 games against lordalatar, this is the lesson that I learned. I need more decks with board control. I cannot go without board control. I started out this game as a more reactive player. I always brought decks with tons of Ember control, tons of board control, and I think I need to go back in that direction a little bit. Because now my playstyle is more of a proactive with a little bit of reaction. Before I was just pretty much all reaction, not much proactivity. But now I think I leaned a little bit too much into proactivity. I need more. I need board control. I need board control. All of my decks are lots of board and good C. Yes, board control. This matchup taught me more than any other matchup. I need board control. Just going fast is not enough. Going fast is not enough. You need board control. And these games taught me that. So going into season 24, I will be scouring my collection for more board control. Maybe not all of my decks, maybe not all 6, but definitely a good portion of them, at least 4, probably 5, need to have good board control. Sounds like my issue with deck choosing for NKFL too. Yeah, you need the board control. And so my lineup had a couple decks with board control, but lordalatar here, he noticed that. He knew that that was going to be his biggest weakness because he has an all-woe lineup, and he banned 2 of my decks with some of my best board control, Queen and Chase. Both have good board control, and he banned both of them. He knew the tool. He knew the tool set that he needed to get rid of, and he nailed it. And as a result, I was just left with a bunch of decks with hardly any board control. Whereas if I had 5 or 6 decks with board control, good board control, then he wouldn't have been able to ban an entire stat from my lineup. So now I understand. 5 seasons into this dang competition, and now I finally know to have board control in my Hexad. Oh my goodness. All right. There's my rant for the night. That's probably like my 3rd rant, more like, but jeez. Just had to get that off my chest, you know? Also, Tran, welcome to the stream, by the way. So good to see you. My lineup this season basically instantly lost to 4 times roll lineups, which makes a lot of matchup for me just feel so bad. Yeah. Yeah. And this is a 6 times woe lineup. This guy had a lineup of 6 woe decks. And yeah. As you can see, woe is like the biggest board set. Like, there have been big board sets in the past. Woe is like the biggest of the board sets. And when you only have when you have like 2 decks with like good board control, I don't know. All right, so here, okay, hold on a minute. Here's the other thing. I'm gonna pause this. Here's the other thing. This is where I was just stupid. Where I was just being absolutely stupid. So at this point, I knew for sure, it's like, okay, the board control is my biggest weakness. So what do I do? What do I do in that situation? Going into the last game, I have 2 decks to choose from. One of them has hardly any board control at all, and then the other one has a ton of board control, like plenty of board control. I mean, I'm talking Earthshaker, Final Refrain, stuff like that. It's a Grim Reminder's deck has plenty of board control. All right, it's like the one other deck in my hex set that didn't get banned that has good board control. And what do? I have 2 decks. Board control is my weakness, and I'm going up against a big ol' Hallowfest board in Winds of Exchange here. Let's see, do I go with the Coda deck with no board control, or the Grim Reminder's deck with tons of board control? And as you can see here, I did the stupid move and took the Coda deck! The Coda deck! With no board control! Yeah, it's the 4 times in here somewhere deck that lost my trust, but it's the deck with the stat that matches up against this deck better. It's like, what am I doing? Why did I do that? Why would I make that choice? Oh my goodness. It's like, that was just so stupid of me. Why did I do that? Why did I? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. This is why I'm no higher than bronze, and why I've never made it any higher than bronze, and why I'm not going any higher than bronze this season. Dinobot. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the stream. You walked right in on me blowing up at my past self about my stupid decisions. Yes, making the wrong deck choice is the worst feeling. And it's even doubly so. Okay, this is a recording, okay? Because I didn't stream this round. So we're going back and we are rewatching this round. So I'm being forced to sit through this a second time, okay? I'm being forced to sit through this horrible decision making a second time. Ah, it was so stupid of me. Like, Otto has been like Tran, it's like what you're saying, like Otto has proven to be so much better than Ison, my 4x in here somewhere deck. Like, it's proven to be so much better. Like, I'm so much more comfortable with Otto than I am with Ison. But it's just like, it's in terms of this matchup, it's like I should have gone with the deck that had board control. Anyway, okay. So for some reason, I still have it stuck in my mind that I'm just gonna ignore the board and go fast. This deck doesn't really go that fast on its own. It steals Ember to go fast, and then control the weaks the opponent into oblivion, or at least tries to. I only had one deck this season under 13C. That is smart. Jason, you're a freaking genius. I wish I had as high IQ as you did. Then also notice that lordalatar here gets Ganymede Outpost down turn 1, because of course he does. Recorded history, friendly guide. Yeah, Dinobot, you came in right as I was just blowing up. It's like, what a time to enter the stream as I'm just losing my mind. Thank you for not instantly clicking away off the stream. So I control the weak him into Star Alliance because I'm like, at least he can't play cards, but I mean, he's archiving cards, so I don't know, maybe control the weakening him into Star Alliance was not the right play, but it's like, he can't really play a whole lot or use a whole lot outside of his Ganymede Outpost. But as you can see, he just gets a whole ton of use out of his Ganymede Outpost. He already has 4 cards in his archives, so it's like, under any other circumstance, I could have controlled the weaken him into Star Alliance and he wouldn't have been archiving a million things. Like, I don't know what other thing, like if I controlled the weaken him into Mars, then what? Would that have been the better choice? This is a good reason why making a matchup chart can be so valuable. It makes planning your choices easier and helps you avoid bad matchups. That is so true. As I've been watching your streams and your NKFL stuff, I've been like, you know what? I kind of want to do that. I kind of do want to make a matchup chart. Like, that's actually so genius. And it's so intuitive as well. Like, you've inspired me, Dinobot. You've inspired me. Like, I need to do this. I need to do this. If I can manage to maintain bronze this season, then I'm going to do that. And also, speaking of that, I noticed that you streamed your final round earlier today. I am 100% going to be going back and watching that when I'm done streaming here. I'm so sad that I missed it. I'm so sad. I was playing KeyForge with some other people, with my family and a family friend. But yeah, after the stream, I'm going to pull up Twitch and watch your match. NKFL streams are always so fun to watch. Mulgogi does it too, huh? Very smart. Very smart. Yeah, so he goes Star Alliance here, throws out a pup grade, CPO Zytar. Where'd the pup grade go? I don't know. Just disappeared, apparently. Krustoff and I were having a grand time, huh? Ooh. Dude, I can't wait to see how you did. Wasn't this a pretty important round for you? Wasn't it like a pretty important one? So then I control the weaken into Star Alliance again. Why? Why did I do that? Why did I do that? Because he can't play much or use much, but the Ganymede Outpost, bro. Look, I control the weak him into Star Alliance when he has the Ganymede Outpost and a creature on the board. Why would I do that? This is what I mean. This is what I mean. This is what I mean. Going back and watching myself play these matches after the fact is very interesting. Cause like, why did I control the weak him into Star Alliance? But then again, I am at check, and he's not doing a ton. Like notice he only has the Echo Reflector as Ember control there. It was a very important one. Okay. Maybe didn't see the artifact. No, I definitely did see the artifact, but I was just like, I want to get this first key through with the control of the weak, and he doesn't have that much board control. Yeah, probably something like that. I was like, I want to force this key through with control of the weaks, and he doesn't have a whole lot of Ember control or much of anything to do in the Star Alliance turn, aside from archiving. But then these archives, he now has 8 cards in the archives. He now has freaking a quarter of his deck in his archives. So we got good Mars value here, which is cool. Mars doing its thing. You love to see it. So now I have a key and a half. Things are looking great. Things are looking good. I've got some Mars on the board. I've got Lash of Broken Dreams in hand, about to be played. I've got Steel in hand as well. I've got a great lead. But do I actually have a great lead? No, because he has 8 cards in his archives. All because of me. That's my fault that he has 8 cards in his archives. And I wonder if you guys can guess what might be in his archives. Oh yeah, probably this massive Brobnar turn with Hallowfest and a million ready and use abilities and endless hordes and Brick Nasty that I set him up for. It's my fault that he's set up like that. I did this to myself. And sure enough, he goes Brobnar and moves all his archives to his hand. So now he has 14 cards in his hand. Oh man. What a night. I'm not actually even playing these games right now, and I still get all riled up about them. I thought that maybe I'd be able to calmly commentate this stuff, but no. I can't calmly commentate anything. Especially not when I am an idiot. So yeah, we got the Frost Giant comes down. Crim Torchtooth comes down. At least it is good to learn from. Yes, exactly. I have learned many good lessons. Bronze Season 23 has taught me many things. I have learned a lot. You are right, Jason. That's the silver lining in all of this. Going into season 24, I'll be a much more seasoned veteran. And as long as the restriction stays as 2 decks per set, I think I'll have a pretty comfortable lineup. Like, I think my Hexad will be pretty much set at maximum 2 decks per set. But if instead we do this whole stupid restricted list thing where you can only have 1 deck with one of those cards on the restricted list, then my whole idea is going to be completely shot. My whole idea for my lineup is going to be totally shot because I have a very specific deck that I want put into my lineup that I'm not going to be able to put in there if the whole restricted list thing happens. Like, I know almost exactly what I want my Hexad to look like next season at max 2 decks per set. Alright, so Hallowfest grabs the Harmolatoon and the Get Hammer. So he plays the Harmolatoon. And the Get Hammer. And like my only good source of board control in this deck is my 3 Fates. It's like that's about as good as it gets. It really is. Because I think next season, like in my Hexad, I definitely want Otto to stick around. Like Otto's still a really good deck, but in a matchup like this, it just doesn't quite cut it. But I think Otto should stay. Trophy Bro will stay. Queen will stay. I have a new Grim Reminders deck that I want to throw into the lineup. If I remember, I'll show you guys what the deck is at the end of the games here. Yep, here comes the Endless Hordes, because every single one of his decks has one of those, I guess. Stay hydrated, folks. Please show us? Okay, I'll show you guys when we're done here. I'll show you guys. It's a pretty cool deck. It's one of my Awakenings. Awakenings? I think, yeah. One of my Awakenings Grim Reminders decks from the GR campaign. I actually opened it live on stream. So yeah, this guy's very carefully crafting and sequencing his absolutely insane, bonkers, ridiculous Brobnar turn. And yeah. Skirmishers trigger off the Brick Nasty. A Volca comes down. My Mars board clearly is not going to last much longer. Oh, the Ganger Chieftain. One of 2, by the way. One of 2. Oh, yeah. Doesn't he fight the Ged or something? Fight the Ged into something? Wait. Oh, yeah, he fights the John Smiths. Now there's 4 damage on the Get Hammer. And wait for it. Wait for it. Oh, and the 1 stood against many because he archived everything because of me. So now all of his stuff is ready. Holy. It's all my fault that this turn could even happen, by the way. All my fault that any of this was possible. I told him to do this, essentially. I was like, please, archive all your Brobnar stuff. I was like, please. Please archive all your Brobnar stuff. That's what I would like you to do. Go right on ahead. Yes, quite the combo. Quite the absolutely disgusting and horrible combo. It's like, what a perfect Hallowfest pod. Like, legitimately, what a perfect Hallowfest pod. You cannot ask for a better Hallowfest pod. Besides maybe an extra Brick Nasty. It's like, it's just absolute perfection. Especially when your opponent is like, please, archive all of it at once. So you can play all of it at once. When your opponent is like, please. I would like you to get the whole combo off instantly. At least you can find the humor in these games. Oh no. True that. At least I can find some humor in these games. Humor in my failures. I mean, hey, it is cool that KeyForge decks can do this. Like, hey, what a cool pod. Good on this guy for opening this deck. It is kind of funny. It is kind of funny. And look at him very smartly stopping at 9 Ember. All right, so right now, do I go Mars and Shatterstorm? Is that what I do? I think I was hoping that he would only go to 8, because then my shadows would have been able to stop him. And then I could have saved my Shatterstorm for the next turn. But it's like he knew what was in my hand and went to 9. Like, it forces me to Shatterstorm right here if I want to stop his key. Shred doesn't work. Bait and Switch plus Nerve Blast doesn't work here. My Lash of Broken Dreams is not on the board. If it was, I could have stopped the key in Disc, but I can't. Apparently I go Shadows anyway, so... Bait and Switch, Nerve Blast, save the Shatterstorm for a rainier day. The day is already about as rainy as it gets. I am at least checking... Maybe that was my thought process. At least I can check for my second key right here. Goes Brobnar, naturally. Once again, essentially, we're in a reverse state as the first game. The first game, I had my own giant Saurian board I could reap out with. Now, in game 3, and game 2 as well, he has this massive Brobnar board he can reap out with. So here he goes. He goes to town, buys some cheese and some calico linen, and reaps out like crazy. Goes to 8. 9, again, genius. And now I don't have any Ember to Shatterstorm with. What am I doing? Why did I just do that? Why did I do that? Yo, let me get rid of my Shatterstorm. Yo! What the heck? Why did I just do that? Let me get rid of the one card that can hopefully potentially stop this burst. You know? It's like, let's see. My opponent has a giant board that he's gonna get a million Ember with. Let me discard my Shatterstorm. Let me discard my good Ember control. What the heck? And then I say, wow, I drew like absolute crap this game. True that, but also you discarded your Shatterstorm, you idiot. Didn't get anything useful. You discarded what was useful. What am I doing? What am I saying? Didn't get anything useful. Going Shadows the previous turn may have been right to try to secure the second key for key differential tiebreak potential. Yeah, I think that's what was going through my mind. I think that's what I was thinking with the Shadows play. Because Shatterstorm, I just lose everything. I don't get my second key probably. But at least I did get a second key through. I probably wouldn't have been able to use my Shatterstorm anyway because he just killed my whole board, but even still, the principle of it. So yep, he reaps out to 9, make that 10. Make that 10. I don't got my TMTP. Shred's not enough. I never got my Lash on the board. And there it is. There's the game. I end up losing the round. 1 win to 2 losses. But the key differential wasn't that bad. The key differential was not that bad. It was 3-1. And then I think 1-3, 2-3. So I forged 6 keys, he forged 7, I believe. So I mean, our keys were still really tight. Which was good. So it's all gonna come down to this last round. Round 7. And then yeah, that's that. So that was round 6. Ended up taking the L, but it wasn't too bad of an L. And I learned a lot, and we had a good time. So it wasn't a total loss. All right, let me show you this deck real quick. My Grim Reminders. Okay, so this is the deck I was thinking of adding to my lineup. Spoiler, it is Wadka, of course. Wadka is the big thing these days. But so it's kind of clunky to set up. So I've been playing games with this deck to try and get used to it. So it has double Winds of Death with Futures Past, the Key Abduction, obviously. Double Winds of Death with the Key Abduction. No target Unixidal, but it does have 2 Nepenthe Seeds. And then in terms of recursion, in case I'd end up accidentally discarding some of this stuff, I have Invigorating Shower in here somewhere. And then I thought there was one other thing. I don't remember what it was, though. Let me check. Recursion. Yeah, the in here somewhere. Future. Invigorating Shower, and then there's some stuff that gets creatures back. Yeah, it looks like a huge ban target. So if I can use it as a ban target, that'd be awesome, because I actually have pretty consistently managed to OTK with this deck. Once I get the setup, once I get everything set up, it OTKs pretty consistently. Just the hard thing is getting that setup, because I need 2 Nepenthe Seeds down. I also need to Winds of Death at the right time, and then I also need my Key Abduction, and I have to get all of those pieces together at once for it all to work. So if like my Nepenthe Seed is at the bottom, my Futures Past isn't helping anything, my Winds of Death just benefits my opponent, my Mars stuff is coming up sporadically, then it's really slow and clunky to set up. But if I do get the setup pieces relatively early, or at least in a good order, then it can OTK pretty quick. Yeah, it might be a little slow to rush decks, but that could be handled by matchups. Exactly. Like, if my opponent's deck is just really rushing along, and just forging keys really fast, generating lots of Ember, then the setup required for this deck is not going to be fast enough to beat those decks. But like you're saying, Chan, like certain matchups, like if I'm also up against a slower deck, then this deck should be able to set up pretty well and pull off the OTK, hit the Wadka. If nothing else, at least hopefully maybe it can act as some ban bait, because it's like people will see the Winds of Death, the Key Abduction, and the 2 Nepenthe Seeds and be like, oh, it's an OTK deck. It's a crazy Wadka deck that is going to try and OTK me. And the Smart Spot is nice because it also has the whole like rule of 6 shenanigans. It has the Iron X Rebel, the Mars First, and the Dr. X. So I can Key Abduction, or so I can burst pretty well with all that Mars stuff as well. And then sometimes even that will just naturally lead into a Key Abduction apart from the Winds of Death. So even if I don't archive a ton of stuff, sometimes I can just burst so much with this Mars stuff that I can pull off the Key Abduction that way as well. So yeah, I'm thinking of adding this one into the lineup. Only 9 Ember Pips, no artifact control. So I mean, it has its flaws, it's clunky, but sometimes it just hums and forges 3 keys out of nowhere. Ban targets are nice. I have one deck that was the first ban in like 6 out of 7 matchups. Yeah, heck yeah. That's what you like to see. That's what Choppy Bro has been in the past until other decks got added to my lineup. I have a Wadka deck that is also pretty, but with KeyForge and Glimmer Spore to catch some time if it ever comes up. Yes, there you go. That's what you like to see. That's what you like to see. But yeah, so that's the LTG. I don't know what that stands for. Lieutenant Governor, Lieutenant something. I don't know. I don't know what LTG stands for. The LTG of Zibberite. But what's cool is that it's also an Awakenings deck. So this deck actually has the neat little border around it, which I think is very cool. I opened it on stream, on my first Growminders opening stream. But yeah, so that's that. That's the stream. Round 6, took the L, but I'm still in it. I'm still in it. If I can win round 7, this final round coming up here that I hope to live stream pretty quick, I think I can maintain my spot in bronze, which is the best I've ever done, to be honest. Maintaining bronze would be my best NKFL performance yet. I do have a script prepared for an upcoming video. Hopefully I can get that video out in the next couple days, maybe on Tuesday or Wednesday or something. That would be great. That would be wonderful. Oh yeah, 24 recursion. Yeah, that's that is super high actually. 24 U. I don't why is it called U? Yeah, that is a pretty high recursion score. I'm a fan of that. Very little Ember control. That's the other thing. It's like I kind of just need to ignore what my opponent is doing and just focus on getting it all set up. Just focus on getting the combo set up so I can pull it off. Because I'm not going to be stopping their keys that much. Like, sometimes I will, but most of the time I won't. So I just need to focus on my own thing. Also, Cursed Tomb plus Winds of Death is awesome. Like, if they're building out a huge board, I can purge everything, or most of it if they don't have Ember on their creatures. Winds of Death, Cursed Tomb I like. I think my favorite video of yours is your video of how they design Worlds Collide Saurian. Yes, that video, I love that video too. Thank you very much. I'm glad you enjoy that one. I really want to make a video of like how they design Grim Reminders. That would be fun. Or even just like Geisoid, but Grim Reminders as a whole, like how Ghost Galaxy designed Grim Reminders. I think that could make for a pretty hilarious skit as well. But yeah, another video coming out soon. I want to get back into content creating. I've just been kind of out of it, exhausted, sick these past couple weeks, but I mean, those other things, like this past month, I've just been, I just do not want to do anything ever. I'm trying to get out of that rut and make some videos. Feeling inspired. There's so much going on. Ember Skies is coming out. I have a whole series I need to complete. Like, what am I doing? I'm slipping. I have a series that I'm in the middle of. But yeah, we're gonna call it there for tonight. Thanks to everybody who stopped by. Dinobot, I'm gonna go watch your stream and hang out and just chill. So yeah, thank you all so much for watching, and I can't wait to see you all again in the next one. See you later.